NCM Sports Talk is a program focusing on athletes, alumni, and coaches from Norwood's past, present, and future. From Little League to high school to college, this show covers any and all Norwood sports. Now here's your host, Mark Hoover.
Hello everybody, I'm Mark Hoover. Welcome to the very first episode of NCM Sports Talk. As you just saw in our opening, this will be a program where you get to meet coaches, athletes, and alumni that all have some kind of Norwood connection. First up, let's hear from Norwood Athletic Director John Longley, as we always do, for a recap of sports for the 2022-23 school year.
Great to be with you. John Longley, Director of Athletics, Norwood High School. Just wanted to kind of recap our 22-23 athletic year. We had a really successful year. It just concluded last week. We had, as far as some of our tournament teams, we had 9 teams qualify for the state tournament this year, which was a really significant accomplishment. During tournament competition, we had a record of 8-8, which meant that the teams did have some success once we did qualify for the tournament. We had 2 TVL championship teams, the boys basketball team in the winter season and the softball team during the spring season. The boys ice hockey team during the winter season advanced to the Elite 8 for the second year in a row, and this year that was the team that advanced the furthest in the state tournament. We also, the winter cheerleading team qualified for the state championship meet for the first time in a number of years, so that was really a significant accomplishment for them. And we had individually over 60 student athletes recognized by the Tri-Valley League for All-Star Honorable Mention recognition. We had 2 Coaches of the Years. We had a Boston Globe and Boston Herald All-Scholastic. So we really, it was really a pretty good season over the course of the year. The winter was really strong again, which has really become, a really successful season for us. We had a sectional champ in wrestling, and the wrestling team performed again as well. Some of the sports that have kind of individual tournaments are a little bit different from the team tournaments, but our sports like track and field, wrestling, they had a number of kids qualify for their divisional or sectional or state meets. So we had like over 25 kids qualify individually for their individual state championship tournaments or meets. So that was also a nice accomplishment for those programs. So we're really looking forward to next school year. We think there's great things on the horizon. We had a lot of, we wish our seniors well. We also had a lot of significant contributions from our underclassmen, so we're looking forward to seeing them, produce on the field and on the courts, on the ice next year. So we're looking forward to another great season in 23-24. So have a great summer. Thanks for the support.
Thanks, John. Remember, to stay up to date on all schedules, scores, and rosters, you can go to norwoodmustangs.com. Up next, NCM's Ron Marshalsea had the opportunity to sit down with his friend and former classmate, Jared Houston, who has had a stellar college basketball career.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newly revamped NCM Sports Talk. Today I have the honor of sitting down with Emerson College basketball player, Jared Houston. Jared is an All-American for Emerson, the 2021-22 NCAA D3 statistical champion, a 12-time NEWMAC Conference Defensive Player of the Week, and twice selected as a first-team All-Conference player. Houston also scored 1,636 points and grabbed over 1,000 rebounds in his career playing for the Lions, averaging 2.8 blocks and 10.9 rebounds a game. He was also named the NEWMAC Conference Athletic and Defensive Player of the Year, both last year and this year. Jared, thank you for being here.
Absolutely. It's quite the intro. I appreciate it.
Of course. And now, instead of jumping right into your career, I want to talk about something that probably not a lot of people know, is that you and I got suspended for a day each in middle school for a shoving match that we had. What do you remember about that and that time at Coakley Middle School?
Yeah, would be remiss if we did not bring that up.
How could we not?
I think National History Day, big time around Coakley Middle School. I think really we were just, arguing who had the better project. I remember I did mine on Jackie Robinson to this day. I still think I had the better one, but we put that besides us. But, the Coakley Middle School was a great time, growing up with all my friends, playing sports here, living here for about 10, 15 years, great memories, and I loved the middle school, and it was awesome.
I remember some balled up paper being thrown at some point.
I think that was how it started. I think I might have started, so personally I'd like to apologize.
Well, I appreciate that, and I apologize for getting it all heated to a point that it didn't need to go to, you know what I mean? And now getting into your basketball career. You didn't graduate from Norwood, but you ended up at Beaver Country Day. What were some of the reasons or the main reason that led you there?
Yeah, so I think especially something that's especially prominent in public school basketball today is kind of going to private schools, going to prep schools. So I felt just like in terms of playing college basketball, I felt at the time that would just be a better opportunity. I was looking at different schools at the time, and I feel like just academically I fit really well there. I took a lot of classes that I probably would have been a year behind at Norwood if I didn't have the chance to take. And then just it was more on pace with what I wanted to do athletically in terms of like doing yoga with the team in the preseason, lifting weights, a more rigorous schedule, and then just the competition and stuff was a lot better. So I think at that time, I think it's what I needed just to kind of give myself a better chance to go play at college basketball level.
So would you say that Beaver Country Day definitely helped in your career?
Yeah. I think I was definitely able to take some stuff away. I think it's a super nice school just from an academic standpoint with the college counselors, and they really sit down, take the time to talk to you. And, the counselors do a great job here, but one thing that was nice about Beaver was there were about 100 students in my graduating class, so it's very personalized with your teachers. The classroom sizes are a lot smaller, so I think I benefited from that academically.
How many kids were in a class? Just out of curiosity.
Some classes I had 7 kids in for English. At the most, I think maybe around 20. Wow. So definitely a lot different than the state of public school education
much more
today.
Personal for sure.
Absolutely.
And so did you or do you still use anything that you learned while you were here, basketball-wise?
Yeah, I think looking back my days playing Coach Cormier, Coach Oliver, Coach Nimblett, I think kind of the conditioning routine is what I always took away from it, especially during tryouts. Like, I knew what I needed to do just because we would be there. We'd do sprints, we'd do foot fires, we'd do minute drills. So I think they did a great job having us ready for in the season. I remember my year on varsity where we had a great year. I remember I was just watching back some of the clips from just a couple weeks ago from like 2016, 2017. And we were pressing teams. We were playing at a really fast pace. And without like the off season and the training that goes into all of that, that style of play wouldn't really work. So the coaches did a good job just kind of having us ready and showing us what it takes to really be in shape.
And speaking of your former teams, can you name a teammate from each team that you've had, Norwood, Beaver, and Emerson, that was the most influential to you? Not necessarily your 3 favorite teammates, but 3 that you feel that you learned the most from and helped you get to this point.
Yeah, I mean, starting at Norwood, I didn't necessarily have the chance to play with them, but Kevin Perry is someone that comes to mind just because I kind of got to watch him like as he was in high school, like being on JV, being on varsity, and I think kind of his hard work and preparation, he ended up having a phenomenal senior year and a phenomenal career at Norwood High. So I think kind of he like showed a younger version of me, like what hard work really was and kind of the benefits that you could get from working hard.
Kevin's definitely the dude to grab shoot 1,000 baskets before every game.
Yeah, it was amazing to watch. And then at Beaver, I'd probably say Jay DePina. He was our point guard. He was just really smart with like how he saw the court, how he could get other guys involved, and like it wasn't necessarily about him. And I think that when you think about playing basketball, like it's cool to score 30 points, but like that necessarily won't win you games if you can't bring other guys with you, because it truly is a team sport. So I think kind of like learning like, okay, how can I get this guy in this spot to be in a better position to score? I think that stuff like that is what I definitely took away. And then at Emerson, 2 people come to mind. I'd probably say Jeff Gray. He was our senior captain my freshman year. he just got after it. And prior coming to Emerson, it's not really like a basketball school. The basketball teams weren't wildly successful. So to see how committed he was to having a great career and how committed he was to winning a championship, I think that kind of laid the foundation for me to have a successful 4 years, 5 years at Emerson, because I could look back at him and be like, okay, this is what he did. And then I'd still have times where I would text him during the season. If there was a hard time going through the season, I might ask for his advice. So him for sure. And then Nate Martin and Brian Lupianez. Nate, again, is another one, just works extremely hard, and just seeing his growth kind of let me know, like, okay, like, if this guy's doing all of this stuff, he's able to get so much better, like, I can take it to another level. And then Brian, who he didn't necessarily play the most minutes, but he was one of the most engaged people on our team. And, you know, when you talk about, like, building a winning culture and things of that nature, like, you need guys like that. And he's standing up 40 minutes a game, he's cheering. He might not get in, but you hear his voice, and he's not even on the court. So it's like, you can take away a lot of things, and it's like, I can look to him to keep me locked in because I know he's a foundation to our culture and our team. So.
It's a beautiful answer.
I appreciate it.
Nate was actually one of the 1,000-point scorers
Yep.
as well, correct?
So Nate just scored his 1,000-point this year. He came in with me. We're both doing grad programs now. He's doing marketing, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And shifting to Norwood specifically for a bit, what was your favorite memory playing as a Mustang? I know you only had you have 2 years.
So
Year and a half?
I got hurt my sophomore year, and then I played varsity my next year, and we were really good. We ended up winning part of the conference when they were still in the Bay State at the time, and you know, I just think we really exceeded a lot of expectations. Again, looking at Norwood basketball a couple years back, it wasn't a great couple of years. So for us to kind of be able to turn how the town saw basketball at the time, I thought was super, super special. And I just remember going to Randolph for a playoff game, and our theme was a blackout. So Randolph had two parts of the gym. It had like a lower part, and then it had an upper part. And I just remember seeing just a sea like of black shirts, black pants, like all of that stuff all in the top section. I just remember, wow, like, this is super special. Like, I'm super lucky to be able to play right
Fans,
now.
they care.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
definitely care when
yeah. And I think that's important too for a town, like we were talking about a little bit before, especially like as connected as Norwood. Like, when teams are good, like, they show out and they show support a lot, and I think it's super cool.
And continuing with the Mustang questions for a second, you went to one of the boys' basketball team's practices this year. Do you think that you helped contribute to their dominant playoff win over Ludlow, or were those guys ready to go before you even walked to the door?
Yeah, I can't take credit for that. You know, I talked to them. Coach Fraioli's awesome. I knew him before he came to Norwood, just through AAU. Played against his son a couple times, and I was really happy to have the opportunity to come in and speak to him. And one of the things that I just like tried to echo is like, all of the pressure that you think is there really isn't. It's like, you guys have done all the hard work. Like, these last 2 years for the program have been historical years. Like, everything, like, all the hard work is done. Like, you guys are proven. You've proven to yourself, to the people in the town, to your coaches. Like, now you just have to have fun with it and enjoy it. And yeah, I can't take any credit. They're a special group of kids for the last 2 years, and it was just really awesome to see.
And so that was the advice that you gave to them. What kind of advice would you give to any young athlete trying to play at a high level?
I think, as cliche and as cheesy as it sounds, it really comes down to consistency and like how you work. Fortunately enough, I was 6'10", so you know, some of those things might be taken for a little bit of a grain of salt, but it's like, you can get to really anywhere that you want to be. Like, when I came in, all throughout Norwood high school, I wasn't the greatest player. I wasn't the best player on our team, and it's funny, I look back because I remember usually after seasons, my freshman year, you have a visit with the coaches. You talk to them about how the season went. And I remember talking to the coaches, and the coach was like, hey, like, to be honest with you, like, we just needed, like, height on the team. So, like, at first, like, we weren't even really sure, like, we were going to take you. So it's like, it's funny to think, like, how this whole journey could have been cut short, but it's like, if you work hard, like, it really could go as far as you take it. So, as cliche as it sounds, I'd just say hard work.
Just put in the work?
Yeah.
All right. And as, like you said, as someone who is 6'10" and a bona fide Emerson legend at this point, do you feel that in the grand scheme of basketball as a whole that you're still underrated or even an underdog?
No, I don't necessarily think that. I take pride going to the Division III school, especially at Emerson, just because I was able to accomplish a lot of great things. Only two-time All-American ever in the school's history, NUMAC Player of the Year. So it's like, for me, I take pride in like being that underdog and flipping a program around, because it's cool that I'm able to leave a legacy behind. I'm gonna be able to bring my kids to that small Emerson gym in a basement and be like, hey, like, this is where I played once, like, this my name up on all these banners. So I think I wouldn't necessarily say underrated, because I've kind of just enjoyed all my time there, and I look back on it fondly for sure.
Awesome. And what was your main goal before you played your first game at Emerson? And has that goal stayed the same, changed completely, or just kind of evolved as your time as a Lion?
Yeah, I would say probably my goal was just kind of change the way that people think about Emerson basketball, which I think I ended up doing a good job of. But my freshman year, we had a really, really great team. Got 2,000-point scorers kind of leading the way. And then we brought in a freshman class with like 4 or 5 guys that played right away, which is pretty unexpected. And we were able to win our first conference championship ever. So it's like, kind of got a taste of that. And it's like, all right, like, I want to keep going. Like, I want more. We ended up getting the first ever at-large bid into the NCAA Division III tournament, which again was first time the school's ever done it. And then we made playoffs every year. Unfortunately, this year we fell short in the semifinals. But I think looking back on like what I came into the program and what I left behind, I think I left it a better place, which that's always the goal whenever you're going into anything new, a new job, a new town, a new situation, anything really. You just want to leave it better than you found it. And I think you did. I think I did that. And I think kind of like the younger guys that we still have, I hope that they're going to be able to continue. I hope that I was a good enough leader for them, and that they can be like, all right, like, this is how we did it before. Like, this was successful for us. Let's keep going, and let's do better than we did this year. Let's do better than the year before. So
I have to agree. You definitely set a precedent over there.
yeah,
100%.
I appreciate it.
And now I thought of something that could be kind of fun. I hope you find it fun. I hope everyone watching at home finds it fun.
Let's do it.
Was 5 rapid-fire would-you-rather questions.
Let's do it.
All right? Answer them as quickly as you can. Would you rather be an elite or an underdog player?
Elite.
Would you rather be a legendary player or a legendary coach?
Legendary coach.
Would you rather have a shoe or an award named after you?
Award.
And would you rather meet your childhood sports hero today or play them one-on-one in their prime? And who is it?
I know it's rapid. I'd probably want to meet them. For me, growing up in high school, as you might know, my favorite player was always Damian Lillard. I have no shot in a one-on-one, so we can just throw that out the window. But I think, again, like, Dame he's cold as a basketball player, but like also when you look at what he's built in Portland, he kind of came in as an underdog. He was like a 3-year or 4-year guy at a small school, and he's an undersized guard. So it's like, and now he wants to stay in Portland, which is kind of wild because people usually use the small markets to build their name, and then they go to Los Angeles or they go to New York to go play with all these other stars. So I think kind of just his story, I think you can take away from. I think it'd be cool just to have a conversation about what his career was like and kind of just his outlook on playing in a small market.
All right, awesome answer. And would you rather take a game-winning shot or pass it to a teammate?
Pass it, for sure.
All right, since it's pass, what if it's in the post?
I'm passing it.
Still pass.
Passing it.
If someone's more open than you, you're definitely passing.
Yeah, hopefully it's off a double, but I'm passing it. I love passing. That's something I learned too. Passing is an art, and it's a much better feeling helping someone else score sometimes than scoring yourself. So
100%. And is there anything that you'd like to say thanks to, or anybody that you'd like to say thanks to, or give a shout out that you haven't been able to talk about yet?
Definitely all the coaches I've had. Coach Cormier, kind of, just coming through Norwood basketball. He was very willing to work. There were times where I'd sit on the bench, just do a bunch of stuff. Coach Oliver, too. One of my fondest memories was, I think I got a tech in a JV game, and he came into the locker room, and he just absolutely lit me up. And it was like, I'm just looking at him the whole time, and it's like, then his voice cracks at the end, and it's like I'm just trying so hard to keep it together. So that was a very funny moment. But obviously Coach Curley, Coach Barrett, my mom especially, and then my dad too, even though he's not here. But it's like he kind of kickstarted my whole journey.
Definitely.
And, he was such a big piece in just how my career has played out. So, it's nice that he was able to get me going, and I was just kind of able to finish the story. So
If you didn't hear Big Boy 1-2, 1-2 in the
Yeah.
game, you knew something was wrong.
something was wrong.
And finally, what is next for Jared Houston?
Wow. So I'm in the midst of my master's program right now in public relations. I still got another semester left. Kind of going on job hunt a little bit. Last year I played in the basketball tournament on ESPN. Not too sure if I'm going to do that again. Maybe some professional basketball. I still got to talk to my parents, my girlfriend, all that stuff, and still kind of up in the air right now. But I'd like to stay in the sports industry, whether I'm playing, working, coaching. I think sports has had a really positive impact on my life, so I'd like to continue to follow down that road.
Definitely give back.
Yeah, absolutely,
Right.
absolutely,
Well, Jared, thank you very much for being here.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
for sure.
And that is the first interview, the conclusion of the first interview for the NCM Sports Talk Show.
Thanks, Ron, for that in-depth interview, and the accolades continue to pile up for Houston because he was recently named to the NEWMAC Conference Men's Basketball 25th Anniversary Team. Congratulations, Jared. But remember, NCM Sports Talk will be keeping in touch with NHS alumni from all walks of life. So if you have any ideas or suggestions, please send them to Ron at ron@norwoodcommunitymedia.org. And now, we'd like to take a quick look at Norwood Little League. As you may know, the Norwood Little League Parade has been a tradition here in town for over 65 years. For a trip down memory lane, here is some rare footage of our parade that spans from 1956 to 2023. Enjoy. Recently, NCM had the privilege of covering a 5-game marathon of girls youth lacrosse played out back on the new high school turf. The Youth Lacrosse League is in need of more officials, and it's a great opportunity for students to be on the field and make some money. In between games, girls lacrosse head coach Mike Lodge talked with his daughter Olivia about the need for more student referees.
All right, we're here with junior official Olivia Lodge. Olivia is one of our star attackers here at the high school, and we just kind of want to talk about the officiating shortage in all of lacrosse, youth and high school. So Olivia, you've been junior official for how long?
I've been a junior official for 3 years now.
Okay. How do you like it?
I really like it. It's not as bad as you would think. I think it's a lot of fun.
Okay. How was the training? Was it rigorous?
Training was very easy. They help you out a lot. They tell you what to do. They have someone on the field with you during an actual game, and they tell you what to do. And it's not hard at all.
Okay. Has being a junior official helped your overall game as a player?
Yes. It's helped me in seeing the game in a different perspective. I'm able to see the field a lot more. If different teams run different plays, I get to see what they look like. Just the overall game perspective is another.
Okay, and how's the pay?
Pay's actually very nice.
Yeah.
The pay, it's worth it. A lot of places, people may think it's not worth it, but for what you're doing, it's very good pay. Yes.
Okay, so good pay. It's not a lot of heavy lifting.
No.
You enjoy it.
Yeah.
Any issues with any parents or coaches that are disruptive or anything like that?
It all depends on where you are, what kind of game it is. Sometimes parents do get a little rowdy. Sometimes coaches do as well, but it's not that hard to deal with. You give them a warning, and then if they if they continue to do what they're doing, then you just card a player and you take them out and you tell them it's your coach's fault.
Okay, and the league and the assigners, your bosses are supportive of you, and
yes,
they will.
very.
Yes.
They will if you go to them immediately after any incident that happened, they will be on your side 100%, and they will deal with it from there. You just got to tell them what happened.
Okay, so overall, would you encourage any of the younger players? What I think they go 8th grade, 9th grade is kind of where they would start.
Yes.
Encourage them to go out and become a junior official.
Yes, if you love the game of lacrosse, or if you just want a job, this is a very good job, very high paying. And you'll learn something new every single time.
Excellent. All right. Well, you've
Perfect.
got one more game to go here. Game 5. You got to be tired.
Yes, I'm
Right.
sweating.
Right.
It's
Mustangs
okay.
look pretty good today.
Yeah,
All competitive
they're
games.
actually Mustangs are doing very well today.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed.
Excellent. Well, thank you.
Of course.
All right.
And welcome back. Pleased to be joined here by the voice of Norwood Girls Youth Lacrosse, the head coach of your high school girls lacrosse team, Coach Mike Lodge. Coach, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Terrific being here. I appreciate you coming in. You finished up your 3rd year, a great season again. Congratulations on hitting 500 and 2 years in a row now of making tournament play. So that's quite an accomplishment and a credit to you and your staff. When you started the season this year, did you come in with any expectations?
I thought with this group we'd be 9-9, 10-8. If something broke the right way, we'd be 11-7. I thought the team was that athletic.
Well, I mean, for a team that was 9-9, you're spot on.
Yeah.
As a coach, as you enter the season with those kind of expectations, what sort of goals do you set for your team and for your players?
The biggest goal is consistency, just trying to get, it's high school kids. You never know what's going to roll off the bus, and that was our biggest issue, is just trying to get that goal of consistent level of play. And there were times that I think you saw it, they were unstoppable, and then there were other times it's like, where'd everybody go? But love the team, great team.
Yeah.
They gave you, the effort you wanted, but it was just more of that consistent level of play.
Sometimes when you enter a season, there are certain expectations or goals that you meet or that you hope to meet, and sometimes you might just miss them. Were there any this year that you felt, we just didn't quite, hit what I wanted to have done?
I would say that 10th win, there was 2 games that we left on the table. I honestly thought we were going to be 10-8 at worst.
Yeah.
and that if we had popped somebody that we shouldn't have, get that 11th win. So it was one of those 2 games that we left on the table was kind of that mark.
Yeah, and then conversely, obviously, were there certain expectations or goals that you were surprised by? You're like, oh, I wasn't expecting that this year, and all of a sudden something happened that was a surprise, as it were.
That would be the defense. Yeah. I mentioned it at the spring banquet here at the school, and again at our banquet at the end of the year. We were fresh on defense. We had 4 defenders that graduated last year that very rarely came off the field. You're trying to replace, a Sam Reen that is just the footwork, just the basketball sense, that she was just a very staunch defender. So now you've got new players coming in, and at the beginning it was a little bit slow, but they played really well in spurts, and then all of a sudden it became consistent. So yeah, the defense I think was definitely one of those.
It's interesting you mentioned the defense, because I remember calling that Grafton game along with Joe Panola, and obviously that Grafton squad had a couple of really, really good players, a couple D1 commits. And although Grafton got up early and kind of quickly, the thing that I took away from that, it really is probably exactly to what you just said. Your defensive core there, those 4 back on that, by the time the second half had rolled around, they had made whatever adjustments, and I'm sure through coaching as well. And that second half was it was some nice shutdown defense. So I can see exactly what you were probably explaining there. You had a couple milestones this year. A couple players hit some big numbers. Why don't you tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah, so in girls lacrosse, I think in basketball, it's 1,000 points is your career mark. So you get around that 100-goal, 100-point mark. Those are the biggies. So number 1, we had Caroline Forrest go over both. Yeah. 100 goals, 100 points. And that's a player that was denied her freshman year because of COVID. Caroline's numbers would have been much higher before she graduated if she had that. Olivia Naughton, another special player, hit the 100-point mark. And we discussed this. She'll be at 100 goals probably in the first week of next season.
Oh, that's exciting.
And then Olivia Lodge hit 100-point early, 100 goal about halfway through, and at the end of the year was over 200 points for her career. So she's done well.
Yeah, that was exciting to follow and to see their careers and how they've come along. We were talking, just before we came on about, you and numbers of your players spending an entire day up here broadcasting youth lacrosse. As a coach with that, what were some of your takeaways from basically kind of watching the next generation of high school, hopefully the next generation up here, the high school players?
Yeah, so when Jack approached me to do the games, I was kind of like, oh, I'm going to be up there all day or whatever. But then as the coach kicked in, it was a perfect opportunity to see the program from first grade to 8th grade all the way through. Yeah. The biggest takeaway I got is the girls are getting it. Yeah. The coaches are doing a great job of explaining the game. I can remember when this group of seniors and juniors that I first got involved with coming up, it was the biggest, strongest athlete on the field would get the ball and just run down, get on the tracks and score. Yeah. It wasn't really lacrosse yet. Norwood's program is now playing lacrosse at a much earlier stage. Yeah. So that was very encouraging to see.
Watching all of these younger players that hopefully will be up here and soon and continuing on the way up. If there was anything that we were kind of impressed by about these players, again, different grades, different skill sets, and different levels, but overall, what kind of impressed you about these young athletes?
There are some of them that are really skilled. So I think you and I were talking about this earlier. Is when this group was coming up, there was 3 girls that played club level lacrosse. It was the Olivias and Emily O'Connor. Now I think there's 11 or 12 sprinkled throughout the system at all the different age levels, and you can see that in their level of play. So I think there's at least 1 club level player coming up to 2, Nora Staunton and Quinny Brown. Watched them, liked what I saw there, but right behind them is Allie O'Neill and Emma Penza. Super aggressive. Allie's a dynamic player. I wish she was in 8th grade. So maybe we can get a waiver. We'll have to talk
Right.
to Mr. Longley about that.
We know
But then
people.
even still, there was a fourth grade goalie that had just jumped in for the first time, and she was outstanding.
Yeah.
So I encouraged Coach Kelly to, hey, let's encourage her to play if she liked it, as she seemed like she enjoyed it. And then Allie Mannering in goal was super athletic, popping out of the net, picking up ground balls through crowds.
Yeah.
Very rare to see even at the high school level. She was dynamic, so she's coming to us. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, because I know that's a position that the keeper position is going to be real big.
We
for you guys
graduated
next
our
year.
number 1 and 2 goalies, and Joanne. Shout out to freshman Joanne, did a fantastic job. This shit just jumped in, first time playing lacrosse, first time in pads. Did a nice job. So between the two of them, hopefully we have some good choices.
That's
for
fantastic.
games. Yeah.
Not only have you certainly are helping out and working up here at the high school level, but you have been intimately involved with the development and the growth of girls youth lacrosse here in Norwood. You were president of the organization, and we know that a strong high school program, sports program, regardless of what it is really dependent on the strength of its youth programs. Having been involved with it, what do you see as the kind of the current state of girls youth lacrosse here in Norwood?
I think the future's bright. Our numbers have bumped up. We started that first and second grade program, which I think, when my daughter started, it was third grade was the youngest you could start. So now some of these girls are getting to the third grade level, and they've got 2 years under their belt of ground balls, passing, catching, ground balls, passing, catching. It's the game, and that has taken off. So you see that group now, I want to say, is around that 5th grade, 6th grade level, and that's where our biggest cluster of club level players are. So yeah, from that standpoint, I think the program, the tie-in between the two programs is going to be nice. The wall that was built down at the Coakley, Lauren Brent and Molly Holm, who are now at the helm of the program, they do a fantastic job. Their practices start at 5. Their teams are at the wall at 4:30. They hit the wall, then they go to practice. Then the next teams come in. They do the same thing. So that's going to pay off as the years go on.
It was interesting too, because in talking with the Grafton coach prior to the playoff game, one of the things that I noticed, and you may have as well, is when we arrived at Grafton, all of the fields were all being used up there by the high school with multiple girls lacrosse games going on.
Nice facility.
It was a great facility, yep. But their coach said something interesting. Like, what's nice about the Grafton program is we don't necessarily have to rebuild. We simply reload, and you look back on these fields, and those are the ones that are coming up next. Do you get the sense that Norwood's trending in that direction, in other words, with our girls lacrosse program?
Yeah, they're getting there. Because like I said, you got a couple club level players at 8th grade, 7th grade, 6th grade, 5th grade. So when those groups mash together, now you've got girls that are playing full time, they're getting high level coaching, and they're into it. Yeah. So it's on its way. We're not, it's not Westwood, it's not Medfield.
Not yet.
No, not yet, but that's the thing. The work that's being done at the lower levels in the youth program is going to start to pay off in the next few years.
Well, it has been exciting to watch here for these past couple of years, and again, your squads continue to improve every year, and even the games where they, might have been on the losing end, the games that I saw were fairly close, and they were competitive, for most of the year this year, and credit to certainly not only yourself but your entire staff and the time that you guys take with them. So, congratulations again on a terrific year this year, and we're looking forward to next spring.
Thank you.
And bigger and better
Appreciate
things.
it. Yeah,
all right.
love it.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Coach Lodge joining us here in studio, and we'll be right back.
Norwood Community Media has its own video on-demand channels. You can go to our website, norwoodcommunitymedia.org, and click on whichever on-demand channel you are looking for, whether it be things to do in the community, events at the schools, or town government meetings. Once you click on one, you are going to be taken to a screen in which you can search for stories or videos you missed on TV or just want to watch again. Just click on the search bar on top of the page and start typing. Once you've found what you're looking for, just click in the middle of the video where the play button is, and you are off enjoying one of the 3 on-demand channels NCM has to offer.
One of the great things about NCM sports broadcasts are the post-game interviews we get to conduct with coaches and players. Here at NCM Sports Talk, we've put together a little montage of some of the interviews from this past year.
So Matthew, we're kind of calling you the brains of the operation here for Mustang baseball. As the bat boy for the Mustangs, kind of walk us through, what are your responsibilities? What do you got to do to make sure that this game goes smoothly?
I kind of have to make sure all the bats are organized and make sure there's no bats laying around the field, because then if someone's running, they could trip, and that would be really bad.
That you don't need. What's the best part you think about being the bat boy for the Mustangs?
I like coming to the games. They're a lot of fun to watch, and I like being a part of the team.
Yep. Now, you play baseball yourself, yeah?
Not really.
Not really? But if you...
A little bit.
A little bit? What's the best part about when you do play?
It's like, I just like having fun.
Yeah. That's the best part about any sport, right?
Yeah.
The name of the game,
That's
right?
the name of the game. Look, the Mustangs are kind of coming up, maybe towards playoff time, right? What do you think of the Mustangs' chances this year? You think we're going to do pretty well?
Yeah, I think they have a decent chance.
Excellent. I understand that you do have also a very important role in terms of food that is brought to the. Tell us a little bit about that. What's that all about?
I'm going to the convenience stores, coming home, getting all the snacks, getting ready for the games.
Perfect. So if these guys get stomach aches or whatnot from eating too much candy or whatnot, that's because of all the stuff that you bring, right?
Oh, we know who to blame.
Well, Matthew, hey, thanks for taking some time, because we got action back here and we want to make sure that no one trips over a bat. But congratulations on all the stuff that you do to help these guys out. We've been watching you. You're a very important part of this team, so thanks for everything.
Thank you.
All right, be good, my friend.
Manny, first game under the lights with a win. How does it feel?
It feels awesome. I mean, it was, those losses hang on for a while. I had a conversation with Nahum. We work so hard that when you lose a game, it sits for 5 or 6 days. And to get this one, it's, now we have a week that we can kind of get at it and get to work, but it's not going to hurt all week. So it feels good.
What's up, Matty? How you doing?
Yeah.
Good. Great game. Hey, first of all, great game today.
Appreciate it.
Going to the line at the end of the game, what were your thoughts when you were there?
It's nerve-wracking, but we knew we had it. Practiced really hard. We were prepared for this game, and we knew our game plan, and we stick to it.
Now, Matty, we saw Walpole kind of queuing in on Noah Badette in the very early stage of this. You picked up that scoring load. Was that part of the strategy, or was that you guys just kind of taking what you were given?
I was kind of just taking what was given. Obviously, Noah's an amazing player, so try to get him the ball as much as we can. So I knew they were taking him away, so I knew how to make a play.
Matty, how does this win going forward? How does this affect the rest of the season? Such a great Walpole team.
It gives us great motivation. We're on a 3-game win streak right now, so we're going into break, so it's huge. It makes us a lot more confident and ready to go for the rest of the season.
Before we leave, Matty, any messages for our fans? They really supported you all down the stretch tonight.
Let's go Mustangs. Girls, let's get a dub tonight.
Well, here with Sarah Randall following a big shutout win by the Norwood Mustangs JV squad. Sarah, great work today. Pitching was absolutely outstanding between you and Salvucci. You got yourself into a couple of troubles, like leadoff hitters getting on base with the walks. From a pitching standpoint, how do you kind of refocus as you did to come back to get, those back-to-back strikeouts?
I usually just take a break and a breath, and I try and focus in on the batter.
As an eighth grader, being pulled up here to play JV, what's that kind of been like to be playing, basically kind of for the high school that you're hopefully going to be playing with again next year when you get up here to the high school?
It's been a good experience. I'm getting lots of practice to hopefully be on a bigger level next year.
The pitching today, I thought, was fantastic. Between yourself settling down, you had that one inning with a couple walks, and then you came back with some strong strikeouts. Salvucci comes in. She gives up that one infield hit and then 6 strikeouts to end the game. You're playing with some freshmen. You've got at least a sophomore on the team. Plus, you got a bunch of eighth graders. What are you kind of looking forward to, I guess, for the rest of this year?
I'm looking forward to winning lots of games and having fun with everyone on the team.
Well, Doc and I were talking about, their pitcher was also an eighth grader. So you guys have got like 5 years basically, right? To play Norwood softball. So our thought is in 5 years, maybe Randall against Bliss, who was their pitcher. So we'll get to see it again. Congratulations on a great win today. Terrific pitching, great hitting, and all that kind of stuff. And best of luck going forward.
Thank you.
I've had the honor of announcing sports here at NCM for some time now, and I can say that these interviews with the athletes and coaches truly adds another layer to the overall production of the games themselves, and am always glad when we can set them up. One of NCM's sports announcers I've had the privilege of calling games with is Joe Pinola. Not only is he a great broadcaster, but he's an even better teacher here at Norwood High. He recently had the opportunity to sit down with his student and two-sport captain Trish Witkowski. Let's head on over to Mr. Pinola's classroom.
Hi, I'm Joe Pinola with NCM Sports Talk, and I'm joined today with someone who I have the pleasure of having in class and calling games for on the field, Tricia Witkowski, a junior here at NHS. How are you, Tricia?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. I'm sure you're excited for summer coming up and finals to be done. Now, to start off, we kind of want to look at some of the academics here. You can see around the room the class that Tricia is in pretty much every day here. She did a great job in physics class. Now, since your freshman year, you've been involved with our Healthcare Innovation Pathways program.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a bit about what that is?
Yeah, so it's every month we take a trip up to Harvard Medical Center, and we kind of just do like labs and different, like get to see all the equipment that they use. It's mostly for like if you want to be like a nurse, doctor, anything in the medical field really. So it's really interesting.
All right. Now, is that something that you're looking to forward your academic career with when you head off to college?
I'm gonna try to be a pediatric nurse when I'm older.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I know firsthand Tricia's been so successful in the classroom, getting to see that in my science room. Now, you have a lot to balance with doing athletics and doing academics, and so far it's been going really well for you. What advice do you have to some underclassmen maybe who are trying to kind of strike that balance in terms of doing well in the classroom and on the field?
Just like time management, like using all the time that you have in school, like if you have wind block, especially studies, all that, like really just like use that time to your advantage because you don't have a ton of time after school, especially if you work too. Like it's just a lot, so you have to use it to your advantage kind of.
And junior year, I know, has been quite busy, huh?
Yeah, it was a long year.
Are there any classes that you're really looking forward to next year, taking as a senior?
Definitely like anatomy, psychology. I'm really actually interested in psychology, so I'm excited for that one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears a little bit, and we'll take a look at the basketball court. I know last year you were part of our girls basketball team that was highly successful, making a run to the state finals. Are there any moments from that season that really stand out to you that are almost like flashbulb memories for you?
Definitely we do a big tournament at the end of the year. You have to like be invited and stuff, and we won the whole thing with a buzzer beater by Aaron Rain, and that was probably one of the highlights. And then just the Whitman Hansen game to bring us to the state championship was just ecstatic, honestly. It was awesome.
So coming off a season like that, what were some of the expectations coming into this year, knowing that you had a young team and lost so many of those seniors?
Yeah, so we had about 4 or 5 returners. We had like no team at all. And so everyone was pretty, like we had a new coach. It was like everything was new. But I thought like we came in, I know all the freshmen really just stood out. They stepped up. Coach McDonald was awesome. I mean, she was awesome. So I'm sure people didn't really expect much from us, but like we expected a lot from ourselves. Like we wanted to go for.
That game that you guys played against Pentucket that ultimately was the last game of the season for y'all, but in the Sweet 16, that was a thriller, an overtime thriller.
That was an awesome game.
Now, Coach McDonald, you mentioned new to the program, inherited a program that was kind of really rebuilding from the ground up with only 4 or 5 of you. What did she bring to the program that you felt was something new, something different?
A lot of times, like, she didn't, like, expect respect. She earned it from us. Like, she knew that, like, and it realistically just made us respect her so much more because she just, like, she listened. She took advice from us. She was like, she would come up to the captains and would be like, what do you guys want to do at practice? What do you guys want to do in a game? And she would listen to what we had to say. And she like implemented it, it was awesome.
So she really leaned on you as junior captains, which had to be something that's not a position many people here are familiar with. What was that like being a junior captain?
It was definitely interesting, but like throughout freshman and sophomore year, I had amazing captains who kind of taught me what to do, and being a captain with Lauren and Alexa, especially for basketball, we really just all helped each other out and just focused on trying to get the team into each game.
Now that's you mentioned Lauren and Alexa. That's a group that you know well from soccer as well.
Yeah.
And I was looking over the soccer roster a little bit before this, and it seems like half the basketball team played on that soccer team with you.
Yeah.
Do you feel that helped you going into the basketball season, having just gone through a season together with another sport?
100%, because like we already knew each other, and with basketball especially, we're friends off the court. Like we hang out off the court. We do things as a team without actually playing basketball, so it just helps us in the long run together.
Now, on the soccer field, I know it's a very different sport when most people look at it. Do you see similarities between the two sports that you play here?
Yeah, mostly with like the way people like play and the way they react to different situations. It also like the way you react is both in each sport. It's in every sport. If you react to a loss, react to a win, kind of.
So a lot of the mental aspect of it. Now, you play goalie, and you've played, I think, since your freshman year, you've been the starter. Now, I look at you on the basketball court, and I see you running up and down, and you're involved in every play, always doing something. As a goalie, sometimes that action is way down on the other end of the field. What's going through your mind and when you're seeing action far down that you know you have to get yourself prepared for, but maybe isn't immediately coming for you?
Well, like with the goalie position in soccer, you can see the entire field. You see every inch of the field. So it's mostly just like you have to talk to like all the defense, you have to talk to the offense, you have to like make sure everyone knows where everyone should be at the same time. So I'm kind of like the director out there. Like I have to like direct people where to go and stuff. So it's a lot, but it's fun.
There you go. Well, you're heading into your senior year of soccer as well.
Yeah.
Anything you're looking forward to in particular for this upcoming fall?
Just to, have fun, hopefully win a couple of games for the senior year, but I'm excited.
There you go. Yeah. Now, I know obviously you do a lot you do a lot here at NHS, both in the classroom, on the field. Do you have any moments as a fan watching any of these sports that stand out to you?
Yeah, a lot of the boys' basketball games, because like each sport, like we just support each other. So like the basketball tournament games are a lot of fun. They like just being in the student section and not actually being on the court, not having to worry.
That's got to be a different perspective for you, huh?
Yeah.
It's starting to feel like winter is tournament time
I
for
know.
the way we've been going. Hopefully we keep it that way.
I know, I'm hoping.
And how about for you down the line? Athletically, are you looking to pursue either of these sports going forward?
Yeah, I would love to play college basketball. It's
Awesome.
kind of my goal, so we'll hope.
Well, we wish Tricia the best of luck with that. She's been amazing for us, as you can see, on the field and also in the classroom. And best of luck to you, and we hope to continue to see some wonderful things your senior year.
Thank you.
With NCM Sports Talk, I'm Joe Panola. Thanks to Tricia Wachowski for joining us today, and we look forward to having you watch some of our games in the near future.
Well, that's it for the premiere episode of NCM Sports Talk. We do hope you have enjoyed the program. And remember to stay up to date with all things Norwood sports. Tune in every week for Ron Marshallsea's Sportscast on Norwood News. And if you missed any one of NCM's broadcasts, or you just want to go see a certain game or program again, you can always go to the on-demand feature on the NCM website, norwoodcommunitymedia.org. For NCM Sports Talk, I'm Mark Hoover. Have a great day, everyone, and let's go Mustangs.